Hey everyone! You're watching Turkish series Stars, and today's story has the entire fandom buzzing. Before we dive into every tender detail, tap subscribe and share this video so you don't miss the sweetest moments everyone's talking about. This year's most watched birthday belonged to Alp Navras, and the real architect of the night was none other than Alina. The surprise she planned didn't just charm their friends. It lit up social media, fed the rumor mill, and had fans repeating the same phrases over and over, overflowing with love, dreamy as a modern fairy tale, and absolutely cinematic. The pictures that leaked from the private celebration snowballed into a frenzy, and in every frame you could feel the warmth between them like a soundtrack you can't get out of your head. What made the night irresistible was the care Alina poured into every detail. People close to the couple say she started mapping it out weeks ahead. She chose one of Alp's favorite hideaways, a place with meaning in their shared history, and kept the atmosphere unpretentious yet elegant. The table was lit by soft candles, and the color palette whispered romance, deep reds melting into soft whites. In the center sat a cake with a line that mattered, a heartfelt note that would end up being the most dissected detail of the evening across timelines and gossip pages. When Alp read what Alina wrote, the mood shifted from sweet surprise to something far more intimate. The words weren't grand or performative, they were honest, grounded, and personal, the kind of message that only two people who guard their private lives closely could understand fully. Fans, who rarely get to peek inside their inner world, grabbed onto those words and echoed them again and again, interpreting them as a window into a bond that's real precisely because it isn't flaunted. Alp's reaction said everything. In the photos, his smile is luminous, the way he looks at Alina is soft and unguarded, and you can read the thanks on his face even if you never hear a word. People who claim they were within earshot swear he said it was one of the most meaningful surprises he'd ever been given. Whether that exact sentence was uttered or not, the way they moved around each other, quiet harmony, easy closeness, drew an outpouring of admiration from fans who followed their journeys on set and off. As soon as the snapshots hit the internet, gossip accounts couldn't post fast enough. Overnight, the celebration took over Explore pages, and not just fans but also famous colleagues sent congratulations, strings of hearts in their captions without cluttering the message. Comment sections filled with variations of the same wish. Let them star together again, let them bring this chemistry to a new project, let us see this energy on screen. People weren't just liking, they were daydreaming right there in the comments. And yet, what Alina created wasn't grandiosity. It was intimacy. In the buzz of the entertainment cycle, the celebration stood out because it wasn't loud. It breathed. And that's why it became the week's defining storyline. Alp stepping into a new age with such care wrapped around him felt like a chapter marker in a book fans can't put down, and the collective eye turned to their next post, searching for clues about what might be coming. By the next morning, the whispers were louder than ever. It wasn't just about the roses or the candles or even the location. People said the entire night was tailored to Alp, his tastes, his tempo, the little touchstones that anchor him. The playlist didn't come from an algorithm. It was built from the songs they go quiet for in the car, the ones that live in the background of their shared memories. Even the small objects on the table apparently had stories attached to them, reflections of private jokes or early days only they could decode. In that light, the celebration felt less like an event and more like a living photo album. Observers noticed Alina's presence most. Not the dress, not the styling, but the way she moved through the room with calm, with emotion held close but visible to anyone who looked closely. Friends say she reached for his hand often, squeezing it in those little ways that speak louder than elaborate speeches. She laughed at things he said that no one else heard. She steadied him when the evening got bigger than the moment. If you were in the room, you would have read devotion in her quiet. And Alp, who usually keeps his composure, was visibly moved. There's talk that as he reread the note on the cake, yes, he kept returning to it, his eyes welled up. Those close to him say he confided that he never expected something so thoroughly tuned to who he is, that the thought behind it all disarmed him. You can imagine the hush that fell over the table, the way a room can suddenly feel sacred when people realize they're witnessing something true. Of course, when the images were shared, the internet did what it always does, it asked questions. For a couple that keeps the spotlight at arm's length, this was a message without needing to spell anything out. Fans called it proof of a discreet but powerful love. Others went further, wondering aloud whether the harmony on display pointed toward bigger decisions ahead. The word marriage floated through comment threads, not as a tabloid shout but as a hopeful whisper. Then came new hints about the architecture of the evening. Apparently, Alina built a timeline into the night, turning the celebration into a gentle walk through their story. Some tokens on the table referred to the place where they first really connected, others to moments that wouldn't mean anything to anyone else, tiny objects they exchanged, an inside joke immortalized as a detail you'd miss if you weren't looking. The sentiment behind those choices was the real headline. Not grand gestures for the cameras, but small truths stitched together until they formed something impossible to ignore. Insiders say Alina set this up with Alp's calendar in mind. He's been working intensely, and she wanted to pull them out of the grind, away from lights and call sheets. That's why the venue felt tucked away and time moved slower there. With no pressure to perform, he could exhale. And when the music softened and the candles burned lower, they apparently talked long and honestly, about the year behind them, about what they want next, about where love fits when careers roar. Alp, it's said, opened up about what he hopes to explore professionally and personally, while Alina met him with patience, steadiness, and that particular brand of understanding she's known for. What stood out to people who heard about that conversation is that it sounded like partnership in the truest sense. Beyond romance, there was friendship, the kind that carries you through the silent parts and the loud ones. That's what fans kept writing under the posts. This isn't just sparks, it's respect, ease, and trust. The authenticity in those photos separated their connection from the shiny distractions that get mistaken for love in the public eye. Everything about the celebration suggested intention. Even the way the table was set had a rhythm, candles at varying heights, red roses offset by clean white linens, glassware that caught the candlelight just so. The cake wasn't a spectacle, it was a message. Reports say the inscription spoke to time, to gratitude for every ordinary day that had felt extraordinary in each other's company. That thought, captured in frosting, felt more moving than any extravagant gift could have. People inside the room said they recognized specific songs drifting through at key moments, a tune they once heard on a quiet drive, a melody tied to a day they didn't want to end, a chorus that had become an inside anthem. Together they stitched the night into a kind of private film. When a track that mattered to Alp started, Alina nudged him, and he smiled like he was hearing it for the first time again. Later, after the cameras were put away, the celebration didn't end, it softened. They reportedly stayed behind as the crowd thinned, lingering in a silence that was anything but empty. Alp ran his fingers over the note again, and Alina leaned in, whispering something that made him laugh through what looked like the remnants of tears. A friend swears they stood there for a long time just holding hands, as if they didn't need anything else to mark the moment. Meanwhile, the internet reconstructed the evening from crumbs. A close-up of the red and white centerpiece, a glimpse of the candlelit glow, the edge of Alina's handwritten message. Fans swapped theories about what each element symbolized. Some thought the tiny charm near the cutlery referenced their first coffee together. Others said the folded napkin shape matched a motif from an early day on set. Whether those guesses were right or not didn't matter. The point was clear, someone had paid attention. Industry friends chimed in without overstepping. They wrote to say how much love they felt in the photos and wished Alp a year worthy of the way he was celebrated. A few people who know them well shared that this is exactly who they are when no one is watching, quiet, playful, attentive. And if the comment sections are any indication, audiences are hungry to see that side of them reflected in their art, in roles that let their real chemistry breathe. If you zoom out, the night revealed a simple truth: grand love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a candlelit table in shades of red and white, a playlist made of shared memories, a cake that carries a message you keep returning to until your eyes sting, and the person you trust most sitting across from you, making even time feel like it belongs to you. That's why this celebration became the story everyone told. It wasn't about status, it was about meaning. As the day after unfolded, the buzz didn't fade, it deepened. More angles of the night surfaced, each one reinforcing the same narrative. The harmony between Alina and Alp wasn't staged. It was lived. And maybe that's why whispers about the future grew louder, though those close to the couple insist that whatever comes next will be chosen quietly, carefully, at their own pace. For now, what remains is a memory already sitting close to legend among fans: Alina's careful, loving orchestration, Alp's open, moved response. The way their hands found each other throughout the night and never seemed to let go. It felt like watching two people speak a language only they know, with everyone else lucky enough to read the subtitles for once. We'll keep watching, because stories like this don't end with a cake being cut. They continue in the small decisions, in the posts that aren't overexposed, in the roles they take and the silences they keep. And when more hints arrive, you know we'll bring them straight to you. Until then, celebrate this moment with them. If you loved this peek behind the curtain, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish series stars and share this video with a friend who believes in quiet, undeniable love. The best chapters have a way of revealing themselves exactly when they're meant to.